Welcome to another Tent Makers training here. This is the third part in our One Another Entrepreneurship series. And today we're going to be talking about how to be a good trainee or a mentee. So you've got a support system that's incredible of other peers, and you've chosen a mentor. All those are important and essential. But now, are you set up to be a good trainee? Let's look at a couple of scriptures to start off. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 2 says, "And the things you have heard me say in the presence of many witnesses, entrust to reliable people who will also be qualified to teach others." Then Hebrews 13:17 says, "Have confidence in your leaders and submit to their authority because they keep watch over you as those who must give an account. Do this so that their work will be a joy, not a burden, for that would be of no benefit to you." Okay, these are some hard scriptures when it comes to following somebody else and being a good trainee. Now, obviously, Paul tells Timothy to entrust to people who are reliable that they can then go and entrust to others. And so, are you someone who is reliable? That's the first thing. If people have to ask you to do the same thing 2, 3, 4 times in a row and you still don't do it, you're not someone who's reliable or someone who should be trusted with responsibilities. Do you come back with a thing finished, done, and on time? Or are you somewhere you come back and it's not done, you spaced on it, you didn't write it down? That shows that you don't really care and that you're not the type of person for either this job, or that you're not the type of person who should be worked with and mentored by the person who's actually mentoring you. So don't waste the other person's time. Your mentor doesn't have much time. They've already got their own business going, and now they're trying to teach and train you on top of it. So don't waste their time. So that means show up on time when you have sessions together. Make sure that you respect them. You know, the Bible says to submit to their authority. If your mentor has authority over you, then listen, submit to it as if someone who has to, give an account for you. Make it a joy and not a burden to be their trainee. You do not want to fight against them all the time. That doesn't help you out. It makes it more difficult for your mentor, and in turn, it's going to make it more difficult for you. Be someone who is a joy and pleasant to work with, someone who's humble, who is a great learner. A good mentee is constantly asking questions. For me, I like to have a list of questions when I show up to either whether I'm being mentored in the ministry or if it's someone mentoring me in entrepreneurship and business. I've got questions. I want to know, how do I do this? How do we do that over here? What are best practices? What are apps that you use to simplify your life? How do we do all these different things? If you're interviewing somebody, have a list of questions. We interviewed John a few months back. I had a list of questions for John ready to go that I was excited for him to answer, and we were flexible at the same time and shifted gears as some of the conversation went along. But you want to be someone who is ready and has a ton of questions. Watching videos, listening to books, those are all great ways to learn, but you also want to communicate and show to the one who's training you that you are eager to learn from them as well, and not just interested in learning your own things, okay? Show the person that is mentoring you that you have a drive to succeed. What does that mean? That means take initiative in the relationship. Be the one to set up the appointments. Be the one to come back with the action items. Be the one to follow up with, hey, did this go right? Does this look right? Did I build this the way you're talking about? How does this design look? Or whatever the things are in your business, go back to them, be ready, and initiate the next time. Obviously, work hard, be committed, and stay true to your word. If you say you're going to be somewhere, then be somewhere. If you say you're going to be at an appointment, then be at that appointment. If you say you're going to get something done, then get the thing done and do it with great excellence. If you need more time, then ahead of time, let them know, hey, I'm so sorry. My life has been crazy. Here's what's come up. Do you mind if I get this to you a little bit later? And if they say no, then stay up all night and work on it, But show that you are committed. Be on time. Be prepared when you do show up. Don't be unprepared and just expect them to give everything to you. Be ready to seek and give back as well. Okay? manage your time well and respect your mentor's time. We already covered that for the most part. But also assess if you can commit to the mentorship. You might not have enough time to do everything that that person wants you to do. And you might have to shift gears or communicate, hey, I don't actually have time to do everything you're asking. Will this still work? Is there a way for us to still work together? Or, do I need to go a different direction here? That's fine, but that's better than overcommitting and then not being able to deliver what you've committed to begin with. So respect their authority and their experience, which means be humble, like we talked about a little bit already, but be someone who is open to input. They're going to give you criticism in your life. Take criticism not as a down on you, but as a opportunity to learn and grow and do better. Just like when you're reading a book or when you're reading the Bible, you come across something and you go, man, that's not who I am. I can change. I can grow. Do the same thing when someone comes back and gives you input. Even if it's a little harsh, even if it's difficult to hear, take it with humility, put it into practice, and change. It helps so much, and people want to give and pour more into you when you give that type of feedback. When you say, "Oh yeah, let me learn from you." If you don't get something, a phrase that I have learned to use frequently is help me to understand. And I really mean that. I don't just mean like, I don't like this. I mean, I don't get it. Help me to understand what you're talking about so that I can be the best and do what you want me to do in a powerful way. Have a can-do, positive outlook. Be someone who looks for solutions and doesn't just point out problems. Everyone can point out problems. We don't need more problem pointers. We need more solution finders. And that's the truth in business as well. The problems will be evident and they will come. But are you the type of person who can see the problem, take it, and go, okay, here's a great solution? Or do you just get so overwhelmed by the problem that you want to quit and you communicate that to the person who's working with you? Be flexible. So on your end, be rigid with your time and the way that you show up on time and how you follow exactly what your mentor tells you. But then be flexible with their needs, their shifts in schedule, their shifts in everything. Be someone who's easy to work with. And if you do that, then you're going to build a really powerful relationship with the person who's mentoring you. And it's going to provide for more opportunities. It might provide for relationships. If they see that you're a good person to work with and train, then the relationships over time are going to build, and they're going to give you referrals to other people, and you're going to learn a lot more. You're going to get a lot more out of that mentoring relationship. So be someone who is humble, who's eager to learn. Sean's got a great video called Mentorship and Millennials on what it looks like to be a good mentor. So for our discussion, are you somebody who is easy to work with, or are you someone that's difficult to work with? Do you come up with problems that are constantly skeptical, or are you and shows up late and doesn't have things prepared and has to be asked multiple times to do the exact same thing? Or are you thinking ahead and making sure that you're respecting the authority, you're respecting the time of the person working with you? Are you a joy to work with, like Hebrews 13:17 talks about, or are you difficult and a burden? Let's be great mentees and trainees as we build our businesses together.